Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, April 20th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, today we have a number of feasts. We have 3, in fact, and they're going to take us all over the world. So first, we'll go to Bavaria, where they recall Our Lady of Scheer. So the Abbot Orsini writes, "This church was built on the spot where the castle stood, which those of the house of Scheer voluntarily ceded to Our Lady, except Arnaud, who, in punishment of his obstinacy, was drowned in a neighboring lake." It sounds like the family had an active role in his drowning. But what this has to do exactly with April 20th, we don't know. We'll trust the Abbot Orsini's claim on that it's an important day. But Arnaud Scheer is remembered as being the odd son of the Bavarian house of Scheer. Sullen and disgruntled, he angrily left the dining hall before the meal was finished. It would prove to be his last meal. His parents had decided to give up their castle, which Arnaud had hoped would be his heritage, but his parents wanted to give it to Our Lady, right? He did not favor the idea of giving up the castle to Our Lady, and no one even thought to ask him his opinion. So slamming the door, he wandered into the darkness of night alone, caring little if anybody should overhear his repeated objections. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Why did the family have to give up the ancestral home? And for a shrine of Our Lady at that? Well, Arnaud wanted no more of this continued discussion on the subject. As he walked, oblivious of where he was, nursing his grievance against the Mother of God, he just continued walking. He was last seen by a servant waving his hands in the air and bemoaning his loss, wondering what he should do. And apparently we're made to understand that he wandered into the neighboring lake and drowned. It was dark, he didn't have a candle. Ah, well. Next, we'll jump across the ocean to La Dolorosa del Colegio in Quito, Ecuador, right? So it was on the night of April 20th, 1906, that an oleograph of the Virgin of Sorrows hanging in the refectory of the Jesuit College of St. Gabriel began to open and shut its eyes in front of the 35 boarding students and 2 priests. The image was moved to the school chapel, where the prodigy reoccurred 6 times. After a canonical investigation, the church authorities declared that it was something that could be believed. Now, the blinking Virgin changed the mood of the country, where educational anti-clericalism had grown since the liberal revolution of 1895. The miracle actually prevented the expulsion of the priests from the college. In June, the painting was moved to the Jesuit church in a huge candlelight procession. The image, it's an image like from the waist up of Mary, is said to date from the first Spanish settlement of 1534, and it depicts Mary in a red robe, white veil, and blue mantle. She has tears on her cheeks and a heart on her chest pierced by 7 swords. She holds Christ's crown of thorns and 3 nails. The image was canonically crowned on April 22nd, 1956, during the 50th anniversary celebration. And last, we jump across the ocean again to visit Madonna del Caloro in Aricia, Rome. So they celebrate the coronation of the Madonna di Caloro, right? The sanctuary was built in 1624 and dedicated to Mary Immaculate, right? Later, it was Bernini who actually gave the church its present structure, as it says, the perfect classical lines, right? The image is a painting of Our Lady with the child Jesus in her arms, and it's she's painted on, just a little on a rock, right? In her left hand, Mary has a small group of roses without thorns, right? The sign of her Immaculate Conception. And so that's what we're celebrating today, April 20th, in the Marian world. For today's Marian meditation, taken from the book by Father Ildefonso Villar, we continue with meditation 57, the life at Nazareth. But again, this meditation is about the finding of the child Jesus. So we'll start with our second point, maternal remonstrances. In fact, Our Lady could not contain her feelings, and with an immense maternal love, she asked him, "My son, why have you treated us so? Think what anguish of mind your father and I have endured searching for you. What reason did you have to search for me? Could you not tell that I must needs be in the place which belongs to my Father?" Mary was unable to recover from her astonishment that day. Everything was so extraordinary. How was it that Jesus, her Jesus, until now so submissive and obedient, he who had never given them any motive of complaint, could now behave this way? Had he not been aware that he had caused them such cruel torments? What was the explanation? We can easily guess the torture of her motherly heart, which causes her to give vent to her feelings. And up to now, Jesus has been silent. Yet, now out of respect for his mother, he speaks and explains. These are the first words of Jesus recorded in the Gospel. How sublime they are! What a deep mystery they enclose! Whatever he has been done on orders from his Father, before whose divine will there is no other course than to obey, even when obedience is bitter and brings with it, as in this case, a trial of suffering. Jesus knew well the anguish of Mary and Joseph. His heart suffered with theirs, yet because his Father so wanted it, he too desired it. For today's reading from The Admirable Heart of Mary by St. John Eudes, we continue with Part 8 regarding Mary's holiness as the foundation for this devotion, and we conclude Chapter 2, Heart of Mary, Ocean of Grace. Let's hear how St. John Eudes concludes this chapter. Finally, Saint Bernard, Saint Fulgentius, Saint Bonaventure, and many other fathers agree that it was necessary for the Mother of our Savior to contain in herself all graces necessary and useful for her state, because every grace is given to men through her intercession. O my God, how admirable is your goodness towards the children of men! Under what obligation are we to serve you, to praise you and to love you, in return for all the abundant and most excellent graces wherewith you have enriched the glorious Virgin? We are as much compelled to gratitude as if you had granted these graces to each one of us in particular. For you did give them to Mary, not for herself alone, but for each one of us, that she may be made worthy to become the mother of the only begotten Son, and to give him to us as our Savior, our brother, our Father, our head, our soul, our heart, our life, and our all. May heaven and earth and every creature therein bless, praise, and glorify you forever. O Mother of perfect grace, you were the woman chosen to find the grace that all mankind had so unhappily lost. Through you, the God of grace and goodness restored to us what we had lost. To you, after Jesus, your divine Son, must we have recourse in order to find the graces we need to serve him and to assure our own salvation. Your maternal heart is the treasure and the treasurer of all these graces. In your most loving and ardent heart, we cannot fail to find them. Hence we dare to say to you, with the beloved of your heart, Saint Bernard, O Mother of Mercy, open the door of your most tender heart to the prayers and sighs of the children of Adam. You who do not despise the sinner, however horrible his condition, if he but cry to you and implore your aid with a penitent and contrite heart.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.